Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first off Ace and Ektar Heroes of the Storm casting podcast of Season 17. I'm still Ektar, he's still Ace. Ace, welcome to Season 17.
I think I've transported in time from about Season 14. Oh boy, it sure is nice to be back, though.
Yeah, casting is one of those things where the mental block on starting is always harder than actually starting, so I don't know that I did anything at all last season until, on a whim, I did the Cupid's Coliseum like 2 weeks ago, and that was fun and easy, so I'm like, let's get back to doing the thing for real.
Well, that sounds like fun, and I'm here, doing the thing for real?
Yeah, we're doing it live.
Suppose. Who do we have today?
Today we have, on the left-hand side, Cosmos against their perennial foes from several seasons ago, Clouded Minds. I believe Clouded Minds won the coin toss, opting for first hero pick. Cosmos banned out Alterac Pass and Sky Temple, and Clouded Minds banned out the good maps of Dragonshire and Tomb of the Spider Queen, and we find ourselves on Brax's Holdout for game number 1, where we have Sylvanas getting first banned by Clouded Minds.
I'm kind of sad to see D-Shire and Tomb go. D-Shire, probably one of my favorite maps to cast because it is the most complex, has the most going on in it. Tomb is a lot of esports, and you know what? We're here for the digital athletics.
Huge fan of the esports. In particular, I just love seeing the teams try to control that mid lane, and you almost always have diverging strategies on that map. Like, it's very rare that both teams are just trying to poke each other out or both trying to hard engage. You almost always get one of each.
Yeah, generally that's kind of the dynamic that gets taken. Now, I know the meta hasn't actually changed pretty much at all in the last,
3 years?
Year and change. So seeing the Junkrat and the Johanna bans are unsurprising, to say the least.
Yeah, Johanna, a little bit less valuable on Brax's Holdout than on a lot of the other maps, but she's just one of those heroes where it never feels that bad to take her. Seeing the Stukov getting banned out, I have maintained for like 3 years that Stukov is more annoying than he is good, but annoying is frequently enough to get him banned, so never a surprise to see that here either.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where his win rate sits right now. A quick hero's profile investigation will certainly pick that up. And oh look, it's Blaze, another most popular hero of the last 14,000 years, it feels like. I'm
a huge fan of early pick Blaze, though, because it's ambiguous.
I mean, it always is.
Hell.
Yeah, I guess so. Early
Blaze is. If the enemy team already has a Sonya, that kind of narrows down what Blaze is probably doing.
That's true. Let's see. Deckard Tassadar picked up first. That's an interesting set of pickups. I like the Tassadar, and I think Deckard is interesting. Not my first pick of choice, but still very potent.
So I mentioned that my first foray back into casting was in the Cupid's Coliseum, but it wasn't my most recent one, actually. I did a cast with Valkymer on his channel about a week and a half ago, and that's largely the reason that we're here right now, because Cosmos, although they lost that series, were so fun to watch. They were just constantly trying to, like, full send on heroics to the enemy team. That even though it ultimately didn't end up working quite as well as they would have liked, it was just so fun to watch, and seeing them open with Tassadar Deckard gives me a lot of hope that that is going to continue in this series.
Yeah, Stay a While is a great combo enabler. Black Hole, always a capability, so looking good. On the other side, we've got our second fire-based hero picked up with Kael'thas, and if you argue Inner Fire, then Anduin could be the third.
I wouldn't.
Okay, then we have 2 fire-based heroes picked up.
Yeah, we have 3 Homo sapiens. I don't want to call them humans, because I don't know if I think Blaze is from the Kaprulu sector, so he's technically a Terran, not a human. But, well, actually, no, Kel'Thas isn't human anyway, he's an elf, so...
Yeah.
3 people.
I stand ready.
Yeah.
Vala Anubarak is a great pairing to what Cosmos already have. Deckard Cain, although not known for his heal throughput, has an unbelievable amount of follow-up CC to something like an Anubarak dive. So I think that works really well towards the strategy I was hoping to see out of them. However, Anduin is the anti-combo hero of all time, so leaving him up might be a little bit of a questionable decision coming out from Cosmos.
I think that's disrespect onto the name of Whitemane right there, saying that Anduin is the best combo disabler of all time. I mean, have you seen Whitemane or Uther?
Whitemane and Uther, I think, is the best counter-argument, but Anduin has... Anduin's trait is arguably the best anti-dive tool, and when your combo starts with Anubarak into follow-up CC, Anduin is at least as good as Whitemane, if not better.
That is a high damage comp from Cosmos.
Yeah, Cosmos, they're not lacking wave clear either, is the thing. Tassadar is the epitome of get you a man that can do both hero and siege damage, as long as you can land those abilities, so big fan, a lot of damage, and we're gonna have to see if Clouded Minds can weather the storm.
Can you disable the seed things for the teams? Since I think that was from Cupid's.
I don't think it was meant to be. Let me pop open the template real fast, see if seeds are in there. They're not. They're actually gone in seeds, so it's only in the draft screen. So they were open earlier in another scene, but hopefully they should be gone in all of the relevant scenes now. Alright.
Facility powering up.
Spawning on the left-hand side in the blue trunks, they are Cosmos, with Silver Jackal playing the Tassadar, Imbuement playing Anubarak, Harama on Deckard Cain, Odd Thought on Vala, and in the top lane we've got Nay playing the Thrall.
And on the right side of the map, in the red trunks, we have Clouded Minds with Keon playing the Blaze, Muffin Man on the Manduin, Terrorsaur on the Tychus, Ruffian on the Kael'thas, and Juggerab on the Impi.
Alright, checking the level 1 talents. We've got Cubold coming up from Vala, which I don't think is a surprise given the map. They already have Tassadar, so they don't need the additional wave clear coming out from W build. And Q is definitely the most burst damage, although I'm never unhappy to see auto attacks unless there's significant investment into countering it by the enemy team. We've got the green talent on Thrall, and we've got W build coming out from Tassadar. All things that I think are pretty normal. The only sort of questionable talent that I would see is the Field Study on Deckard Cain, giving you arguably less crowd control opportunity than you would have with Sapphire.
Yep, there is a little bit less, but it does increase the healing throughput a little bit, as Deckard has actually rotated up to the top lane to try and make something happen, but ultimately does not find purchase. But increasing the healing early on is not necessarily a bad thing here.
It's not, and I think more than trying to make something happen, it's possible Nay is concerned about the 1v1 matchup, so Deckard Cain could be just leaving a couple of potions up there to tilt the matchup a little bit more in their favor, as both camps are going for some, or both teams going for some very quick camps, both of them in the top lane.
Yeah, the
Imperius
is gonna find this out, but there's very little he can do unless he gets the rest of the rotation, which he's not.
Yeah.
So that'll be a slight advantage over to Cosmos with the stronger camp up in the top lane there.
Yeah, I like the fact that we've left Blaze in the bottom lane, though, just to make sure that they can get the XP and they're not going to miss any of it. Cosmos are quick enough to get into bottom lane, they're not really going to miss anything for it, and Keon's actually going to take a little bit of punishment here. He is going to get the follow-on route and is pulled away by Muffin Man. Odd Thought taking quite a bit of damage from the Kael'thas there, but that's exactly the type of engagements that I'm looking to see purely from the entertainment standpoint.
Ooh, that's a big scroll of ceiling there. Does land for 3. Isn't going to find... Oh my goodness, Living Bomb goes off on the Vala in the back. Did not expect that one to go off, and that is first blood to the side of Clouded Minds.
Yeah, Demon getting just a little bit of a stun onto Keon. Keon looking to turn it around, and Silver Jackal using that wall to make sure that there is no follow-up that can come out. We did have a back in the top lane from the Imperius, so they get some good lane priority, as neither of the offlaners are particularly known for their wave clear and much more focused on their 1v1 potential. Ruffian taking a lot of damage, and they are going to go down 2 minions, it looks like. Imbuement stepping back, tapping, are going to have their cooldowns available once again, so Kian, you are not safe to stay here if the rest of the team steps up.
Yeah, the towers were actually the ones that made the final blow there. The Kael'thas just barely in range and then got Deckard sealed in there, and that sealed his fate. And so that ties it up 1-1. Let's Cosmos get a little bit of channel time on this beacon, and I don't think Imperius is going to have a great time interrupting it.
A lot of damage went on the Pterosaur, but they did miss the burrow charge. Kian is going to stun the back line, so the unit is going to have to back up. We know they don't have tap available. I checked earlier, Ney was actually shredding in the 1v1. Imperius had to back, and Ney still wins out of the 1v1, which is really great for Cosmos because they do not have control of the bottom point, as Imbuement is taking a little bit more damage than the team has been dishing out in some of these engagements so far, but Ruffian is in a spot, gets pulled out immediately, but still actually takes quite a lot of damage from it.
Yeah, good response there from Muffin Man. That was about a half second from being a kill. So good job there. And meanwhile, Ney, controlling that top lane in dominating fashion here, is going to enable their team to grab a full 100-0 Zerg wave, which will be spawning up top.
Yeah, we've left Tassadar in the bottom lane, making sure that they don't get any damage, because even a small Zerg wave, if left unattended, can get pretty big damage by the spawning nature of the Guardians and the Ultralisks. So making sure they don't lose out on that, and Clouded Mines do have pretty good wave clear. They shouldn't take a ton of damage unless there are kills that come off of this, and the first kill actually going onto Ney. That will make this defense a lot easier for Clouded Mines.
Yeah, that was a great little side flank from the Blades. Gets the Jet Prop combo into the kill. There's another one, 3v5. This is a great opportunity for Clouded Mines, and they're going to pick up
a lot of damage.
They sure did deal a lot of those damages. They picked up some nice numbers on the tap screen.
Yeah, checking the assessment after the end of the Zerg wave phase, all of the wall is down in top lane. Very little damage done in bottom lane, and yeah, small advantage in favor of Cosmos at the end of that. They do have a talent tier advantage at the moment. Nothing that won't be picked up relatively quickly by Clouded Mines, and certainly no critical structures going down, so although it is a good objective phase for Cosmos, ultimately not going to result in anything too substantial.
Yeah, seeing as the builds progress now that we have a little bit of downtime, we do have full W for Tastar, a lot of W for Anubarak. We do have the Ruby and the Cube Mastery for Deckard, as is the Cube Mastery. That's not Haradra Cube, that is quite the departure.
I think Cube Mastery has gotten more popular over time, as it just lets you throw out more abilities.
Yeah, not unreasonable, and everything else on the red side here seems pretty reasonable, just looking through the idea of the Holy Fervor, continuation of Tychus Grenade build, Blaze cutting spell power seems very reasonable. So yeah, everything seems up and dandy.
I know that you're a huge Hot Pursuit fan. Does that even apply into Q build? I bet it does.
I am a big fan, but you gotta take Q here. A noob that taken out with that blow-up combo. Tychus just shredding through. And the CC combo from Clouded Mines is very solid with Jet Prop into Lapse into Root. If you're not avoiding that at the start, Deckard has no way to get you out. And Deckard has, and there's no way to movement out of it, so.
And that is one of the downsides of the Cube Master. You don't get that damage reduction, so they can really hit you hard on the clapback if you don't find a kill pretty much immediately, which is much harder than it used to be given the spell power cut from the, I don't actually know what Blaze's Q is called. Jetstream?
Flamestream. Tychus is actually having to rotate up top. The Ney has been absolutely bullying Juggerrob here in the top lane pretty much this entire game, and it's making the overall control of the beacons difficult for Clouded Mines, even though they have had a little bit more on the kill side of things.
We do have a big unstoppable coming out from Kian as Imbuement did find the initial crowd control, and that is an absolute forest of rubies that are unfortunately going to go unconsumed in the bottom lane. Imbuement would have loved to have gotten all that healing off, but the unstoppable coming out from Blaze made it not a worthwhile investment to try to continue that engagement farther. 10's coming from both sides, and generally, I think we have 10 out of 10 expected heroic races coming out. There goes the bunker drop. A truckload of damage comes out onto Muffin Man and Ruffian. Kian is trying to peel there a little bit, steps in for the additional 25 armor. Not able to find any kills, but I definitely think that Clouded Mind's trading down in hit points there, although they did trade up in heroic economy, trading 1 for 3.
Yeah, right there. Imbuement goes in again. The Scroll of Sealing isn't going to land, but that's a 3-man stay a while. Isn't going to find anything, though, because the Psy Storm was ticking. So again, a little bit more going, a little more heroics used from Cosmos, which I think was on your pre-game scouting report, I think.
Yeah. One thing that's kind of important to note with this kind of a composition, Tassadar's Psystorm works a little bit different compared to a lot of other abilities. It doesn't deal a static amount of damage per tick. The longer it ticks on a given target, the more damage it actually deals. Ooh, nay. Little aggressive, weren't able to find the damage onto Juggerab and Terrorsaur, making sure to get the end of that kill. But yeah, it means with this long of a CC trade, Tassadar can do even more damage just because he's going to be standing in the side spot for longer than you'd expect.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the rotations that Clouded Minds is going to need to be able to relieve some of this top lane pressure. Imperius cannot handle this Thrall, partially because of the level 1 with Impaling Bite as opposed to like percentage damage, but not. There's a big engagement down bottom. Terrorsaur takes a truckload. Odd Thought, though, is in lethal range. Nice toss from Kurama. Silver Jackal, though, now the next to be very low. The peeling comes out, but Blaze goes right through it, waddles into the backline, misses the Flame Stream, though. Silver Jackal will walk away with just a tiny bit of health left.
Yeah, now that we've got the 10s online for both teams, really both teams just throwing absolute haymakers at each other, shoving all the Murden players. But everyone on Clouded Mind side took a ton of damage, but nobody quite died. That's kind of one of the downsides of the way that Tassadar does deal damage. It's very in an area and not quite so focused. And Odd Thought just not quite getting the confirm onto any of these kills. Really, allowing Clouded Minds to just crack back for a ton of damage, but again, not quite finding any of those kills. We do have the buttons for Cosmos coming up in just a second, and I know Imbuement is itching to push that Burrow Charge.
Yeah, they should wait just a little bit, though. 6 seconds on the ult, but goes in and gets blown up. Vala gets the side of that Light Bomb and is going to be dealt a ton of damage. The grenade plus the Living Bomb is going to finish that kill off for a pair of kills for Clouded Minds, and they're going to have full control of the bottom, and they're going to possibly look to rotate Tychus up and then push down in the bottom lane.
They definitely are. Even rotating Tychus up, we can see that they're still have the numbers advantage in bottom lane, so they're going to get a lot of damage, which is mostly going to sort of even out the situation in bottom lane, as Cosmos had, with their consistent 4v3s in bottom lane, gotten a lot of damage done already. But the ability to rotate Terrorsaur into the top lane means that they're going to start getting a significant amount of beacon channel for the first time this game.
Yeah, this is looking a lot like the teams are adapting, Clouded Minds being the first who really had to, so we'll have to see if Cosmos is going to be able to adjust back to this a little bit more team style. Juggerab goes in with the armaments, does get the stab, but they don't find the finishing blow onto Ney. They will look to pick up a fort, but knowing that it's 4v3 in the bottom, Cosmos is moving in. Wall does not let you pass through, even though you're unstoppable, can. Light Bomb's going to land for one onto Tassadar, and that's actually a kill down 4v3 for Clouded Minds. Great counter engagement there onto the Bruiser camp, and now they've got full control of the beacons.
Juggerab not finding the stab onto Odd Thought. Kian going in for the deep engagement. Odd Thought is getting chased down by Terrorsaur, who does have the slow, I believe, on 13. That is correct. Slow in movement speed, making sure they can chase down that Vala. We did have Ney rotate back up to the top point to stymie the damage that the Zerg wave was going to do, but now that they are up in numbers and have bottom fort taken, I fully expect to see Clouded Mines make their way up the left side of the map, taking camps as they go and picking up the top channel as well.
Yeah, 14-15 right now on the level, so it's not critical that anyone fight before a talent tier is achieved or anything like that. So it is just a good time to find the right position, don't get caught out. Nay, checking the bush.
Imbuement, or Juggerod checking the same bush.
Yeah, ships passing in the day, I suppose. They did see each other, and now the invade is on in the top.
Gonna go hide talents just for a quick second, because you can tell one of these teams is looking to fight the other team, and I think given the way this game has gone, we know which is which. Imbuement playing a little bit careful, looking like they're just going to try and sneak on their way onto top point. Sneak a little bit of a channel while their opponents are on the presumed camp that they are in fact taking. Although we see in the bottom lane we have red picking up the bottom point, so I don't even think there was a single percentage channeled there for Cosmos.
There was not. I actually was wondering the exact same thing, and I paid attention. There's not. 16s are nearly here for Clouded Mines, which means it's a great time to fight. Vala gets blown up first. Here comes the stay a while, sleeps the Odin, but everyone's looking rather healthy on the side of Clouded Mines. Up a DPS Juggerod, gonna take a little bit of damage, is gonna stand in the side storm. 2 Death Silver Jackal, the lowest on Cosmos, as Clouded Mines are in a little bit of retreat. Ooh, that was a careful miss on the jet prop, but it does body block the Tastarian just enough to secure the kill with Flame Strike. Now the cleanup is going on. Nice CC combo there is going to take out Imbuement. That is a 3-for-1 in favor of Clouded Mines.
Yeah, it was looking good, and then it was looking bad, and then it was looking good, and then it became really bad again for Cosmos, who I don't think they were quite expecting Clouded Mines to have taken that aggressive of a bush positioning, but they were in fact ready for the rotation. They lost a kill, found a kill, and almost found another one under the Kel'Thas, but just weren't quite able to close it out, and the Ignite value was incredibly large as they got not only the application of Living Bomb, but the cooldown reduction from it as well, and were able to turn that into, I think, one more kill, as the rest of them were able to get on out of there, but that is a 150 Zerg wave coming down the top lane. I think they should rotate Nay in to defend this top keep, as there's already a ton of damage that's coming through in bot lane.
Yeah, that bottom Zerg wave could actually get the keep, so this is really pretty aggressive from Clouded Mines. They want to end the game with this. Here's a jet prop with the light bomb. Isn't going to get the wrap in time, but it will prevent some of the follow-up. Juggerod taking a lot of damage as well as Kian. He's got to drop the bunker. Vala stepped too far forward and got blown up, though. There's a jet prop on a Silver Jackal. The Silver Jackal is taken out, but the Spear can living low, but is going to be living, and that's the important part with 3 kills. Cosmos not looking good against this Zerg wave.
Yeah, that is going to be the first game going in favor of Clouded Mines, and although they didn't win, I think you can see why I like watching Cosmos. They're just all gas all the time.
All gas all the time, but needed a little bit more in the tank to make this one work, I think.
Oh, God, that was such a good turn of phrase, Ace.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Yeah, checking out the numbers. Huge fan of Tassadar chonking out that siege damage, nearly doubling the next closest in the form of Imperius. Hero damage, pretty close between Tassadar and Tychus. Heal numbers, larger for Anduin, which is never a huge surprise. Anduin just a little bit better at the raw heal throughput than Deckard, unless you're really able to get that Ruby value. We saw him go actually into the AoE potions, which we don't see as often as the other talents on that tier, but not quite able to make the difference there.
Yeah, I don't have any of the stats pulled up because I'm restarting Heroes, because fun fact, my Oliobs is so out of date, the health bars were thick at the top.
I made sure to do an AI beforehand to make sure I remember to get the Oliobs fixed, because it looks bad if you don't.
Well, that's why I'm not putting it out to stream, and you are. So, yeah, thanks for being more prepared.
Alright.
But
given the way we saw Game 1 go, knowing that it was picked by Cosmos, What do you think we might see for a game number 2 if they are map pick? As we don't
And
currently
if
know.
they're map pick, I have to think they go to, like, I mean, esports home. Not that. I was going to say Infernal Shrines, but Towers of Doom is entirely reasonable.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a map with a lot of opportunities to fight if you want to. Like, if you have a good rotation capability on your offlaner, you just try to invade the opponent's pumpkin camp all the time. Alternatively, you could draft a highly mobile assassin to try to gank the offlane. We have seen Imbuement be definitely the engagement hero, or the engagement maker for the side of Cosmos. So maybe they wouldn't necessarily want to have a mobile assassin trying to go for ganks. Heck, maybe they just try to rotate as a team onto the offlane. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's all very possible. I'm very partial to Dahaka on this map, as for the reasons you mentioned, that you can just engage onto the sapper camp pretty aggressively. So I think it's a very fun and very solid pickup as well. So we'll have to see. I do not know these teams and their hero pools, but nonetheless, that's something I'm a fan of here.
We were sort of waxing poetic about what we think that Cosmos would be playing on, but Clouded Minds are the ones that actually brought us to Towers of Doom, so maybe they are willing to let Cosmos take these aggressive teamfight positions, because, you know, frankly, it worked out reasonably well for them. Although Cosmos was, you know, pushing the issue a lot, Clouded Minds did a pretty darn good job of absorbing the engagements in a lot of cases, so maybe they're just kind of fine with that and are comfortable on the map themselves.
I mean, I saw a lot of good, especially leading the charge Blaze play there. Popping the Unstoppable, then just firing off a jet prop. The follow-up CC was very solid with Kael'thas, then the Anduin in a lot of cases, and it led to a lot of kills, whereas the only follow-up CC on the side of Cosmos to an Anubarak was the Vala R. And Deckard if possible, but that had to be, you know, when they got kills, he was often involved, but a lot of times it's a little more difficult to land it with such a long windup. So maybe drafting like a 1 extra CC into a high damage comp might be what's necessary.
Yeah, as much as I do in fact love Tassadar, Force Wall isn't the greatest follow-up CC. So maybe if they went into something like their opponent's Kael'thas, they would have an additional stun that could come out to make the engagements just last a little bit longer, as well as I think banning out the Anduin would do really good for this style of play.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Into the Anubarak, that Anduin was a lifesaver on multiple occasions, so definitely something that Cosmos could look at going into game number 2 here on Towers of Doom.
Let's go Cosmos. Game 3s are cool. We're a big fan of Game 3 here, as I'm sure you know the sound.
Yep, we are always a fan of game number 3 when we have little stakes in the match. Generally, I don't like playing game 3s when I win the first game, but, you know, we're here to watch a lot of Heroes of the Storm.
When we lose the first game, we're a big fan of Game 3 in our own series.
When we win the first game, but oh boy, am I the biggest fan of Game 3 when I'm down 0-1. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Alright, looking forward to seeing what Cosmos are going to ban. Previously, they banned out Sylvanas Stukov, or am I mixing up bands? I think I'm mixing up bands. Junkrat was definitely one of them.
And then it was Sylv Joe on the side of CM.
Okay. I don't remember what Cosmos played in the last series of theirs that I watched, but I don't feel like Joe is super conducive to the playstyle that they've displayed, so I might chance leaving Johanna up.
Well, they've probably done more scouting than we have, or I'm hoping so. Might just have to see. It's up to the determination of the teams here as we wait our second ban. Is it going to be a Stukov repeat, or are we going to see something different?
I think that the Sylvanas is a pretty good ban, coming up from Clouded Minds, as Sylvanas is great follow-up to an engagement-style composition after level 10. Both of her heroics really phenomenal, either for silencing the rest of the team to make sure they can't help the dive target, or, if that's not necessary, Mind Control is incredible for follow-up CC on the primary target.
Yeah, it's really good. It's not point-and-click CC, but it's point-and-click CC on a stun target, and it's really solid. It's a displacement plus what is practically a stun, so really, really good stuff.
Yeah. And Blaze did, in fact, cause a lot of problems for Cosmos last game. I am not upset seeing it, and they do, in fact, take the Johanna, so we're going to see how Imbuement is able to adjust their engagement style. Alternatively, they might just do something totally different as their opponents are going into a Rin comp, coming out with the father and son of the Varian Anduin.
Yep, that's the exact words I was going to use, is a father-son 1-2 right there. So already indicative of the taunt Varian into Chastise for the follow-up CC, but we'll have to see how it works as Mephisto and Leoric are picked up. Two, I think, very strong picks here for Cosmos.
How do you think they share the sword? Is it like just anytime they're going to use W, they swap it between the two of them?
Look, there were a lot of subpar things, but did you see the last Skywalker, or Rise of Skywalker?
I did not.
Well, then I can't make the reference, but if you have, Kylo and Rey pass a lightsaber via the Force because they're special like that. And that's what I'm imagining. You see her put the saber behind her back, and Kylo pulls out, and you go, oh shit, that was pretty cool.
Okay.
And even there's a little moment where he goes, like that.
They do something quite similar in The Hobbit, where all of the hobbits are basically sharing one axe. Or all the dwarves, not hobbits. There's only the one hobbit, but all the dwarves are sharing one axe, and I can see something kind of similar coming out. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it was.
We have not yet mentioned the Leoric or the Mephisto. Leoric, I think, is very common on this map, as he is one of those good double soak for towers heroes, and Mephisto is really good at fighting the enemy team.
Mephisto is quite good at fighting the enemy team. Let me tell you, if there's a pure fighting the enemy team tier list, it is the Aram win rates column.
Yeah.
And
spoiler alert, Mephisto is like top 5.
I am almost certain of that. Nazebo #1 though, very fascinating.
Hell yeah, Nazebo. That's just because games go late.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this is a strong 4-man from Clouded Minds. It does one job. It clicks a person and then blows them up. How are we gonna deal with that? It's Brightwing and Ziggy Zags. Brightwing with the cleanse on trait, but doesn't affect reapplies, so that might come up a little short. Uncertain. This is a dangerous blow-up combo that Clouded Minds has put together.
It sure is, and conversely, it is distinctly not that on the side of Cosmos. So if they play their composition the same way that they played the previous game composition, they're just gonna lose. Like, this comp doesn't do the same thing as they were trying to do in the last game, and they're gonna need to significantly adjust their playstyle to find success in this game, because Zagara doesn't kill people quickly. Mephisto kinda can, but Johanna doesn't provide a substantial amount of lockdown. Brightwing doesn't provide the same kind of crowd control that Deckard Cain does, so they really are going to have to win through not just killing one target very fast. They're going to either have to poke the team out or otherwise find a way to get advantages on the map.
Yeah, and I want to point out that Sonya pick is a fantastic last pick as far as 5v5 team fights are concerned, because having that off-angle leap is going to be very important for creating a second engagement condition for Clouded Mind. So really nice, solid last pickup.
Spawning on the left-hand side in the blue trunks, trying to take us to a game number 3. They are Cosmos with Imbuement playing Johanna. Nay is on the Leoric, Karama on Brightwing, Oddthought playing Zagara, and haven't left the Hall of the Storms yet. It is Silver Jackal on the Mephisto as we go into the between game screen as we have a pause.
Well, I will pause my introduction of our other team and let the suspense build. Who could they be?
Yeah. We have confirmation that Silver Jackal is the one who has not come back from letting their dog out, it seems.
You know? It's a good play, though. Letting the dog out, making sure the dog is sated and is doesn't draw aggro. Petting the dog, +1 buff to your playing. So overall, a very solid pre-game pick.
Not only is petting the dog a buff, not petting the dog sometimes brings with it the dog needs attention debuff, which can do absolutely ruinous things to your hand or elbow depending on where they try to seek that attention from.
And that is exactly accurate. I've had Luna poke her nose up at my elbow while I've been playing before during a StarCraft run before, and I'm just like, now's not the time. Nope.
I love you to pieces, go away.
Yeah. Love you to death.
Isaacs in the chat saying it's going to be a win through Entomb or bust. Entomb is an obviously incredibly strong win condition. I think there are other win cons. For example, because they have Leoric to their opponent Sonya, it's very possible that Leoric can get ahead on the wave clear and they can make rotations down to the enemy team's camp that Sonya can't respond to as quickly and try to win in 5v4s. Additionally, if they just get late enough in the game, Zagara is so strong. Not that the health bars on the side of Clouded Mines are particularly large, but if you get stacked roaches from 7 plus 16, or God forbid you get all the way to 20 with the extra 20% damage on Hunter Killer attacks, even throwing that into Squishy is just a lot of damage, so I do think that there are other avenues than just Entomb, but it certainly isn't as straightforward as their previous comp was.
Yeah, I think one important thing is going to be Johanna Falling Sword as a counter-engage measure. I think it's going to be quite good. I don't think, if they're relying on an Entomb, I don't think they need all these hard engages to try and make something happen with, like, Blessed Shield.
Yeah, the enemy team definitely has the better engagement tools, even with Blessed Shield on the table, so if Imbuement has the twitchy reflexes necessary to get the team out of those engagements with the Falling Sword, I think that could go very well for them, and they can just rely on their strong poke and such. However, and we haven't mentioned it quite yet, they picked Mephisto, and their opponents have Chromie, and there is no hard cleanse outside of a potential Falling Sword, so we're gonna need to make sure Silver Jackal is very careful about that.
Yeah, definitely something to worry about is that Mephisto is very good until you get some of the hard counters, and I think that's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So we will see. It's a skill matchup. We are counting into a negative timer. I love it. Love it every time. And on the right side of the map in the red trunks, we have Clouded Mines. He took us strong game number 1. With Ruffian playing the Chromie, Muffin Man playing Anduin, Pterosaur on the Tychus, Kian on the Varian, and Juggerab on the Sonya.
I'm playing with the insert and delete tools to make the screen rotations.
Always fun to do. Cinematic effect for sure.
We have Mephisto going into the Q build, which I think even further emphasizes their de-emphasis on hard blow-up, as typically when you see those kinds of compositions that contain a Mephisto, you go more into the W build. We have a full disengage of mid lane coming out for the side of Clouded Mines, presumably because they're a Varian comp and they just kind of don't want to mess with the enemy team quite yet. They are going to lose out on some mid support, though.
I'm about to say, look, I'm not going to cry too much about missed XP. They missed an entire, like, that is a full XP wave that they missed in mid lane at level 1. Like, You have someone sit behind the gate, please.
Yeah, like, they could have easily left, I would say probably Tychus there just to catch the globes off of the wall. And then you could use Chromie as your hard anchor mage in the bot lane. Like, they're behind half a level at level 2, as we have Ney rotating down with that rotation priority that we saw them have to try and invade on their opponent's camp. This is going to allow an opportunity for Clouded Minds to regain that XP differential as Sonya has rotated back in the top lane, so they will be full giving on this camp. And camp's not worth nearly as much XP as minion waves, that is for sure.
It's worth roughly 1.5 minions, if I remember correctly. It's like 100 XP for this camp. It's very small. But nonetheless, it does create some kind of pressure as the camp's picked up, and Clouded Minds had to spend some time clearing it, and now the second camp, which will time up with the minion wave a little better, should put a lot of pressure with Cosmos' pushing before level 4.
Importantly, I don't think that Leoric missed a single full minion globe in the top lane, so really not losing a whole lot in that engagement attempt. They missed maybe a little bit in mid, so they probably lost out on a bit of XP overall, but there is certainly something to be said for taking your opponent's camp, and Hewitt getting a big slap there with that Condemn would have been Subdue if they had one. But opting for the larger, more frequent shields is, I think, pretty common into Taunt areas.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Look at this damage coming out from Silver Jackal. Does drop 3 players below 500 health, and that well is empty down in the bottom lane. All 4 members tapping, going into the objective phase, whereas something Cosmos will have a little bit left over. Could tap mid-fight, so we'll have to see how that plays out here with just a little bit of advantage here for Cosmos in this first altar phase.
Yeah, we see that Leoric is already taking top channel. Sonya is going to take there, so it's going to be quite a long 4v4 if even any of the offlaners decide to rotate down into here. Given the team's fighting proclivity, I expect Leoric to come down here pretty quickly. Silver Jackal takes a lot of damage, but Keon is pretty low as well. The Roach is looking for something, but Inhuman is the first to fall here. Mei and Juggernaut both rotate down. Pterosaur is very low, 69 health. Keon is able to walk away as well. And although the numbers advantage is in favor of Clouded Minds, the total health bars is in favor of Cosmos. They're going to get the first pair of channels in favor of their opponent's singular channel. But the XP differential has at this point pretty much evaporated.
Yeah, that was a nice disengagement from Clouded Minds, getting 2 players out under 100 health. Just a little bit of that unfocused damage, not to any fault of the players, but just that's the hero you're playing. It's harder to focus out the damage on those targets that are very, very low. So you can kind of see the strengths and weaknesses of these comps coming together already, and now Clouded Minds feeling a little more bold with a shield on their variant is going to look to take their camp.
I like how both teams have a ward in this mid-bush, so no matter who's standing there, it is seen by the enemy team. We have another engagement check coming out from the members of Cosmos. They have their offlaner here, but the camp was already picked out, so they're just going to get a little damage out and disengage. I will say, since the level 4s hit, this is the first talent choice I distinctly do not like, and that is the serrated spines on the Zagara. It doesn't further your game plan with the hero compared to either of the other two, and it encourages you to stand around auto-attacking, something Zagara doesn't care to be doing that often.
Now, the Envenom Spines definitely augments the killing a hero potential, which is severely lacking as far as single target damage, so generally the preferred talent, but nonetheless, we'll have to see if that gets stacked up. Again, it can gain value, but you have to get the stacks out of it.
We see Sonya making the quicker rotation down for the first time in this game. They weren't able to find anything of value. We do have the 10s now online for Chromie, who did go for loop, as I think we kind of expected, given the Mephisto on the enemy side. Offlaners are going to fight over the midpoint. Taunt goes out onto Silver Jackal, but he's just going to port back to his original shade location. So Oddbot is going to get the very quick first channel. Keon's getting kind of low, Pterosaur a little on the low side as well, and Ney has just been absolutely trucking in these 1v1s both games now. Gonna get the mid channel, getting a very healthy poor health advantage in favor of Cosmos.
I literally saw the math occurring, and then you just went with core health. It's a 12-point advantage for Cosmos, as the Chromie never ripped loop through that. Mephisto ported in 4 times through that fight, and not once was he looped. I don't know if the cooldowns and everything weren't in agreement there or whatnot, but that was opted not to occur. So we'll have to see kind of how that interaction plays out throughout this mid-game here, especially as 10s are being picked up on both sides, so all the heroics come online.
That was the fastest engagement after 10 I've maybe ever seen. Johanna is going to take a truckload of damage after the Blessed Shield that we were, I think, a little bit surprised still to see. Karama's very low, has the Blade Kill to get them out. Pterosaur not quite getting the stun that was applied by Muffin Man onto Odd Thought. So every R button pushed by Cosmos, but ultimately not yielding anything. We have Nay on the flank, but Clouded Mind's a little bit too, not low, but like too far south on the map for them to try to rip in and Tomb Engage. Sonya's hanging around as well. They have the leap, and they're going to use the rotation down here to take their own camp for the first time in... no, they took the previous one. They're going to take their own camp.
Yeah, taking a look, I mean, that combo is so close. It is the Blessed Shield, by the way, not the Falling Sword that I predicted. There's the engagement in. Huge Durance, though. It is 4v5, though, so Cosmos has to be careful, and that is a blow-up onto Imbued. As, look, counting, I think, did not recognize our 5 there while Leo was out. Leo's going to try and sneak it. Leap is going to deny it, and don't know if Leo gets out. If there's a loop, maybe not quite. Leo does get out there, so that will be a 1-to-1 trade.
Just
easy,
barely.
Chroma, not close.
I wonder if the Q would have gotten them there, would have gotten the projectile there just a bit quicker to maybe get the interrupt there. But with the hero advantage, we see that Clouded Minds are going to opt to take a little bit of core damage here in the form of the boss, as we have Cosmos taking their own camp and Nay getting right back to doing God's work on this minion wave.
Yeah, did not take the Neil Peasants, rather did go into the Paralyzing Rage, a little bit more of a teamfight talent. So, let's see if that comes into play as the game progresses here. It also is Drain Momentum, so we'll have to see at level 13, Leo has the option of 3 pairs of talents. We'll have to see which one he goes into.
This single time trap stopped a team fight.
It really did.
All of Cosmos were sitting right around there, and the time trap just prevented anything from happening, but nothing is going to stop Imbuement from holding forward. As the Blood Shield going to come out onto Varian. We've got the rotation down from Juggernaut, finding a big leap onto Odd Thought, who is walking away. Good cleanse coming out from Karama. Low health bars. We do have the loop now coming out on a Silver Jackal, but oh my god, taking a ton of damage to get another port out. Leo's here with the not quite as big as I thought it was going to be in Tomb, but that should still be a kill out onto Keon. 1 for 1, as Nay has more health, I think, than the entirety of Clouded Minds. Finds the second kill onto Muffin Man. Pterosaur should be able to push him back with the Commandeer Odin, as Imbuement is quite low. Karama going to keep him nice and topped off. Nay spooking back in to scare them away, and I think that, yeah, let's definitely trade up in favor of Cosmos, as they went 1 for 3 in kills there, as the objective is coming up.
Yeah, it's a tough day when a 1 for 3 would not be in your favor, or rather a great day, because that means you're like up more than 4 levels. And they pick up level 13s now, are going to resecure out a 12 health advantage onto the core, and really take a good spot in this map. Oh, that's already an aggressive re-engage. That's going to be a full dis. Oh, I might have spoken too soon. 3-person mob, but I don't think there's enough to follow up on this. And now Cosmos presses 3 R buttons and finds some damage. But that's the nature of, you know, you miss 100% of the engagements you don't take.
That is true. Boy, that's some sketch logic, though. We do see Clouded Minds continuing to try to take this camp. They full disengaged on it before, as Cosmos were looking to rip down this fort, and I think they are going to get it this time. They did see that there was the camp being taken, but opting not to do anything about it, a wise decision, as it allows the rest of the team to go ahead and take this fort, secure it for a time, and Nay is looking to come in and maybe make a little bit of spooky walk-in tomb action happen.
Not going to have the extra spook length, though, is going to go into the Spectral Leech on level 13. So the long-range spooky engages not quite as much, and they're going to continue pressuring down here. Only now is Ney rotating out, and not even at that. So they're prioritizing map presence and holding this point as opposed to soaking up some XP, which is fine. You make your trade-offs. Yes. And we'll see both these teams work their way towards this 3 altar fate.
Yeah, speaking of trade-offs, we see that Clouded Minds have rotated all the way through in the top lane, trying to take both of the top ones. As a huge engagement comes out on Danae, they do get the unstop in time, but the damage is too great, and they are going to secure both of the top points, giving them 6 shots to their opponent's 5.
Yep, Zagara's going to take the Sapper camp, though, so Oddthought going quickly able to pick that up as long as they don't reset. The Banelings do good splash. But it is going to mean that the pressure in bottom is going to be maintained. 2-to-1 health advantage, core health advantage for Cosmos still does exist, though, and Ney looking to kind of spook down to the bottom lane again.
Yeah, and there is really good wave clear coming out for the side of Cosmos, obviously, and it's good, don't get me wrong, on the side of Clouded Minds, but opting to go into the Relentless Soldier instead of the grenade talent on that tier.
Melting Point.
Thank you. As well as Krobi has quite good wave clear in her W, but doing that means that you don't have it available to rip off the variant on, so it's a trade-off on what you're trying to prioritize in these cases. In this case, they're currently trying to prioritize not letting these additional 3 shots come in, as Juggerab has made the rotation in, Ney has made the rotation in, and this is, 5 people in bottom lane just kind of staring at each other. Neither team really looking to rip an engagement. I thought barely able to get out of Keon's engage range with the extra movement speed on creep. As we do have Ney rotated out, Juggerab still staying around, and this should be a full disengage coming out for the side of Cosmos, but nope, they're always holding forward.
Here they go. 2-person Maw is going to nullify most of that light bomb. Oddthought's taking a lot of damage, but Sonya, Juggerab first to go down. Entomb misses a target, but still creates enough of a block that it goes for a kill onto the variant. Pterosaur going to escape out with 155 health. And now with this altar phase coming up, it is looking dark for Clouded Minds, as it is looking to be at least 5 shots on core. And that would take them down to a starting to get pretty spooky low 6.
Yeah, you very rarely see Bless Shield into Devouring Maw, and I got a sneaking suspicion that was not the intended combo coming out for Cosmos, but boy did it work out to let Silver Jackal get an absolute ton of damage in, as we are going to look for the Durans, not going to find it, but already picking up the 5 core shots, trying to force these additional 3 in, and making sure they can keep that XP lead nice and healthy. We do see them clear out the core shots coming out from the Pumpkin Sappers, but Ney is continuing to work on that XP advantage. No more talent tier advantages until 20, so you can see Clouded Minds are stepping up really aggressively, trying to make a fight happen.
Yeah, they're trying to make it happen, but they've got a tough wall to go through. I mean, that fort is in the way. Johanna can easily make something happen, and that's exactly what's going on there. Single target, though, does mean Anduin's able to make the pull, and they're going to have to disengage off that. JK, they're going to engage off that. Maw is going to deal a ton of damage to Keon. Leap Light Bomb is in. Silver Jackal going to have to shade out to the back to gain a little bit of health before coming back. Juggerab taken out. Johanna's going to be able to pop the unstop. Durance lands into the death zone, so not going to find anything major there, but again, more kills coming out for Cosmos, really pulling the team fight together this game, where last game they were really behind in the team fighting, and it seems like every time a fight broke out, Clouded Minds was the one taking the advantage, but not in this game.
Yeah, normally one of the weaknesses on Anduin is he can only cleanse someone every 70 seconds, and then at 16, that gets ameliorated slightly because you get a second charge of it. But Cosmos are just like, what if we engage every 20 seconds? Then what's Anduin gonna do? And, eventually with enough engagements, they find the value that they've been looking for. Clouded Mind's really trying to get this keep flipped over. We've got Ney walking in. They find the Entomb onto Muffin Man. Are they going to find a kill off of the back of it? They are, and Keon is getting chunked really low as well. They've got the loot coming out, but I don't think they can really do anything to Silver Jackal. There are no more sappers in here that I can see, so they're not able to find that last push up. Right back here by the keep. They find the kill onto Varian as well. I don't know that Pterosaur is going to be able to do enough to clear these out. They get the first one cleared out. Sonya, Ruffy, and Tychus all taking a ton of damage, and there goes all of the core shots.
Big comeback there from Cosmos, not in the game sense, but in the series sense. That was a statement of, please respect our capability to fight you.
That was
very solid.
Full-on Arrested Development, we demand to be taken seriously coming out from Cosmos, and they did it with absolute vengeance.
That is one of my favorite memes, too. Adapted for Lurk Patrol uses back in Season 3, 4, 5. 3 or 5.
I believe that was 3.
I think it was.
After the post-game interview with Amazing, who beat us in playoffs 2-1, we were the only team in the entire season to take a map off of them, and when they were asked about it in playoffs, they weren't even aware that that happened.
Yeah, and we had the... we were ranked 4th in the power rankings, and we said we demand to be taken seriously, so we took the only game off Amazing and didn't move up.
Yep. We also were the only ones.
Such a mistake.
We were the only ones to take a map off of them in the playoffs as well, all the way into the grand finals, where Amazing were summarily dismantled by Order of the Sleeping Dragon.
Oh man, look at that! Look at that lore. 13 seasons ago. Think back to 2017, 2018 range. Wow. Also, wow. Anyway, that was a great game. Half the heroes that were featured in that game weren't in the game at the time.
Yeah.
So we've seen 2 successful comps so far. We've seen Clouded Minds with a good CC train win on Braxis. And then we had Cosmos win with a huge just area damage comp on towers. So how, and the winner has been the first picker each time. So what are your predictions going into game 3?
I think that Clouded Minds are going to take first pick, and let me check the map pool, which has apparently disappeared on OBS.
Ah, it's that old bug on it.
I haven't updated the NGS controller in ages, so that could be.
I haven't updated it in ages.
Fair enough.
It's a bug I've never been able to track, but it's fine. You just click select and deselect, and it'll be fine.
We have found what our map number 3 is going to be. It is Battlefield of Eternity. I do not yet know who picked it, however.
It seems to be CM, judging by first draft.
Interesting.
So, BOE, more similar to Braxis, 2-lane map. Very interesting.
And this is another map that lends itself towards comps that just fight you to death, which has obviously been Cosmos's MO all series. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if that is the design of their comp, not to race the Immortal down, but to try to take the defensive, kill them to death style of composition onto the Immortals and try to get value out that way.
Any spicy picks you'd like to see here that you kind of think are map specific to BOE?
From Cosmos, nothing jumps out at me. From Clouded Minds, I think the spicy pick would be Sergeant Hammer.
Thank you for
I think she does so good at playing this map defensively and just controlling vision and rotations. I think it would be a sleeper, really strong pick for him.
I was hoping you would say Sergeant Hammer because she is quite the strong hero on this map, can control so much space in those immortal areas. So would be a very interesting one. Now, for Cosmos, maybe still a possible pick, but we can see there have already been, the Chromie's been shown, ICM. There's a lot of counterplay to it.
Valcomer noticing that I do in fact have a channel point reward for replay casting. As far as I'm aware, nobody has ever redeemed it. If it starts becoming popular, the price is going to go up. But because no one's ever redeemed it...
Hector, how many series do you think I could get you to cast?
Let me check real quick how many channel points it costs. I think it's 5,000. I think you could get... let me get a calculator out real quick. I think you could get about 28 casts out.
28 series casts?
Yes, I think you have in the neighborhood. That's fair. That's a good point.
And I've redeemed a couple absolutely nothings.
That's fair. So how many could you redeem?
9 best of 3s.
9. That sounds about right still.
That's because it is. I don't know what to tell you. It is right. I'm going to make you replay cast an NGS Season 1 game.
I'll do it.
That would be so much fun.
If Heroes of the Storm can open it, I'll do it.
You have to watch the replay through the previous cast that was done, mute it, and cast over it.
Oh, I would hate that because I couldn't control the camera.
Oh, it would be tough.
Speaking of getting your channel points in Valcomer, I've done the predictions for both of the last 2 games. I haven't talked about it, but we've been running them, so if you want to get enough channel points to get your own replay cast, make sure you get in the prediction that should be coming up near the end of this draft.
Yeah, here, I'll even throw in some to the pool. Whoever has fewer points, I don't know. I will randomly flip a coin and add a couple channel points to the pool.
Alright, we're continuing to have very similar bans. This time the Johanna ban is coming out from Cosmos, even though they still have the first pick priority, so they seem like they definitely have a plan.
Yeah.
Stukov 100% banned by teams. The winning team so far has always been the one that has not banned Stukov. How's that for useless stats?
There you go. Winning teams pick Johanna, and
don't ban
winning
Stukov.
teams ban Johanna. How about that? The team that has had the popularity point for Johanna has also won.
Mephisto getting banned out as well. Love to see that respect ban. And Nay is taking the Blaze. Always could still be a main tank pivot, but Nay has been the offlaner, and not so secretly. I feel like it's been kind of holding the team together. In map number 1, constantly holding top lane, except for when Tychus was rotated out. Constantly getting the rotations into win into bottom lane. Like, Nay is, I don't want to say fully like putting the team on their back, but they've been putting in the work in the 1v1s.
Yeah, definitely had some good favorable matchups as well, but nonetheless still takes the skill to execute. Li Ming, kind of a more map-specific pickup here by Ruffian, and for the 3rd time, we've got the Anduin pickup. So, again, if you're Cosmos, you need to make sure that you're not taking a single target deletion build, and that is an empty pickup. And you know what?
It doesn't get more single target than Imperious Sylvanas.
Well, looky here. I don't know what more to analyze. We'll see if they change it up a little bit. They can do some funky things. You can make it work. Run a side flank on the Impy. Use Wailing Arrow to disable Anduin. It's just the harder execution thing. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we did see the Sylvanas getting banned out, I believe, in both of the 2 previous games. So Odd Thought getting that comfort pick. And yeah, like I mentioned, if the backline is capable of saving your single target engage onto the front line, Wailing Arrow can shut that down if you're coordinated enough to get it out in time. So let's see if the proper coordination is able to come out from Cosmos. We had the Rhaegar getting banned out, which is not a map-specific hero, but I don't think plays particularly well into Cosmos's modus operandi, so maybe just not wanting them to have that strong generic healer plus race. We got the Tychus banned on the other side. Tychus is just a good hero.
Tychus is just flat out good. If you start with CC, Tychus blows up a target fairly quickly, regardless of who it is, and that's just good.
A Nubarak, relatively squishy tank, but with a lot of ability to get out of an engagement if he's able to get any time to push the E. And Hogger, he's just one of those heroes, man. Like, Hogger and Samuro, if you die, it was a choice.
Same with Tracer. Tracer is always...
Yeah.
And I think Genji, any of them with the hypermobility, that is a Bruiser Sylvanas, and I like what I see, as they were a little short on race, but Artanis with amateur opponent should help that a lot, and Deckard is the pick again for Kurama.
So, who's the tank here? I think it's Imperius with Blaze in the 4-man and Artanis in the off lane is how I would play it. How I think they're going to play it is Imperius Artanis with Blaze in the off lane.
We'll see Vala last picked up here.
That's a really squishy backline.
That is a drooly, like, dive the backline kind of comp. Now, to their credit, Cosmos doesn't have the greatest flanks. Here, real quick, Blaze on Imbuement on the Blaze and Nay on the Artanis, so it does look like...
They are planning to play it in the way that I stated, assuming Nay continues to be in the off lane. I'm going to mention the prediction now, and then I'm going to push start prediction in like 20 seconds, so that by the time you're hearing this, there should still be about a minute and a half left on the 2-minute prediction. Make sure you get in with those channel points now.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some in. I've got one replay cast worth of channel points going in.
Alrighty, spawning on the left-hand side for the last time this series in the blue trunks, they are Cosmos with Imbuement on the main tank Blaze, Kurama on the Deckard Cain, Odd Thought on Sylvanas, and Silver Jackal playing the 4-man Imperius. Oh yeah, and Nay winning top lane with Artanis, probably.
And on the right side of the map, in the red trunks, I guess orange trunks, we do have Clouded Minds with Kian on the Anubarak, Muffin Man, 3rd time's the charm on the Anduin, Ruffian on the Li Ming, Terrorsaur, not on the Tychus, but on the Vala, and Juggerab on the Hogger.
It looks like Clouded Minds are anticipating some top lane Sylvanas cheese, but it looks like Cosmos are just going to play it straight. They've got Sylvanas in bot lane, they're just kind of setting up the potions, waiting for the minion wave to come in.
Sylvanas does that, just kind of plays a little mind game. Sounds like a very Sylvanas thing to do, to be perfectly honest.
We do have one of my least favorite talents getting picked up here, but I think it's kind of acceptable. I am not an enjoyer of Scroll of Identify, but with Imbuement and Silver Jackal both having really big and long-lasting stuns, it's maybe good enough that you can get away with Scroll of Identify here as we find the first stun of the game going out, and that's a quick 2 stacks as the healer and tank both leap in to try to peel for the Vala. As we get another big stab, jet prop. Okay, I love this. I love it a lot. Not the talent, mind you, just the gameplay.
Big damage, big stabs, and I mean, look, jet prop has a satisfying sound when it hits. It has a big, meaty boom, and the spear needs no introduction as to how enjoyable it is to land. There's a lot of great damage that can come out from it, and with Burn the Impure on level 1, the target chosen to die will simply die.
Yeah, where a Nubarak's Impale is a I was going to try to make a joke. I have already forgotten where I was going to go with it. We do have the counter-engage attempt coming out for the members of Clouded Minds. Keon, looking for the bro charge in, takes way more damage than they dealt and are going to fall. That is another kill going out in favor of Cosmos. Big orb to the backside, but not going to slow down the momentum as the Bruiser camp is now going to be taken by Cosmos.
Yeah, up in the top lane, which has been relatively uneventful comparatively. Clouded Minds was looking, giving a little bit of eyes towards the camp, but overall did not make anything happen of it. And now with the rotation of Silver Jackal into the top lane, Ney is more than, I guess not free to take the camp, but is capable of taking the camp here. And Juggerab does not make a big fuss of it. So both camps being picked up at good times for Cosmos here. Only one for Clouded Minds.
Thank you, Valkymer, for pointing out I was still on the draft screen. We have both teams set up into a relatively defensive posture. No, that's not even true. We have a Clouded Minds set up for an aggressive posture with 3 members of Cosmos on the defense. Hogger is continuing to push in top lane as the other members of Cosmos are on the Immortal race as they are allowing their camp to get the push into bottom lane they were not getting themselves.
We'll see if anybody rotates up top. These are guaranteed to, these Immortals are guaranteed to go into offensive positions here. So it will be a quick race out. Hogger continuing to take out a lot of structure health up top as both cannon towers are close to going down. But nonetheless, without the contributions of the Hog Champ, Cosmos will take the first Immortal with 11,000 shield.
Honestly, though, not a bad race coming out from Clouded Minds, considering they basically only got MO damage during halftime, and they haven't even picked up their best race talent yet with the Monster Hunter opportunity coming out from the Vala. We do have the expected offlaners having transitioned into bot lane, as we have the about 60% shield Immortal coming out here, and Silvtrate making sure to keep that nice and healthy.
Yeah, Silvtrate's very effective with the shield on the Immortal, giving it a little bit more range. So that's a lot of damage mitigated. Shield's only now going down, and the gate and half the top tower is already gone, along with the bottom tower. So full health Immortal pushing onto the fort, matching or exceeding the damage that Hogger was able to do.
Yeah, and still about 60% down. We have stun, and pull-out game is still strong for Muffin Man. We do have the route into the stun coming out from Immortal. Pterosaur trying to get those ults out from the Q resource. We get another stun into Jet Prob. Again, that's kind of the problem with Anduin. Once your trait is down, your burst healing isn't actually that strong. So keeping your frontline healthy can be a bit of a dubious prospect.
Yeah, picking up the Desperate Prayer at level 7 to try and get some of that extra burst healing out. But
Orbming.
Yeah, we do. That's a uncommon pick here because it doesn't help as much with the race, but it does help with the poke, which I think is actually very good with Cosmos being such a short-range comp.
Yeah,
and I don't want a Calamity into that.
No, I certainly don't either. You do tend to see, what is it, the charge strikes on 7 more often, just because it's the best race talent?
Seeker on 7.
Ooh, big orb actually coming, hitting, I think, 3 members. But barely avoiding that second orb, as you still have Ney in bot lane, just because with the catapult that spawned in top lane, it's not super safe for them to rotate on up there. Will Hogger rotated out. But with the, like you said, relatively short-range nature of Cosmos up, Cloud Minds are having a pretty good time on the defense right up until that first stun comes out, but we do have the pull from Muffin Man keeping Keon nice and safe.
Keon's going to have a hell of a time trying to stay both aggressive, but also being able to not be out of position for engages. It's going to be a tough balance, and I think if he can get that to work, it's going to be what leads the team to victory, but otherwise it's going to be a very difficult prospect, and Juggerob's going to have to leave another camp as Cosmos walks in. They are looking very sharp in the first 7 or so minutes of this game.
So you asked me about
630.
Arcana's taking a ton of damage. They get the swap, but not able to refresh their shield. A really nice blow-up coming out for the side of Clouded Minds. Silver Jackal in a bit of a rough spot, although Juggernaut is a little on the low side. They still do, however, pick up the spare on Imperius. Imbuement going just for a little bit of damage. They were never going to find a kill there, so just kind of using the buttons that they had available. You asked me, ish 10 minutes ago if I had any spicy ideas for heroes on this map. Having seen the way the game has progressed, I wonder if Locust Swarm wasn't the pick for Keon.
That would be... You know, I say, ooh, look at that Jet Prop hitbox. Love it. You know, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm not agreeing with you because it's so much burst damage as opposed to sustain. Anub has a tough time dealing with that. Hogger's going to take a lot of damage. Does not get the shockwave off in time, though. It's going to take a Hogger pull to get out. Wrath is on to Sylvanas. Keon not going to find anybody with the Light Bomb. Now Mind Control lands, and that's going to be a very endangered Anub. Big blinds from the Arcanus going to land on the floor now. Manduin is going to be taken out. Hogger, or rather Anubarak, is going to be impaled with the spikes. As soon as that shielding wears off, that might be dead Anub. It is not. The only thing dying here is the Immortal, which was back capped to buy Clouded Minds, but they are down a player during the pushing, at least to start. Death timers are still short.
Anduin was also taken down there. Not to be pedantic, but I...
I thought Anduin was the only one taken down.
You said the only one going down was the Immortal. I think that Muffin Man might disagree with you.
I think past that, I did mention it a little bit. But you are technically correct.
The best kind of correct is with Keon kind of wiggling towards Cosmos, maybe looking to find something to happen here. Actually gets set up by Muffin Man, looking for some revenge for that kill earlier. Gets the initiation with the Chastise. A little bit of stun coming out onto Ney as the Immortal is brought down to just health bar, no longer shielding. Not quite timing the orb coming out, but Ney is a little on the low side. The shield already popped, and they're going to be the next to fall. As Clouded Minds showing that they know how to make an engagement happen as well. Ney stepping back in and getting stunned, or Jackal rather stepping in, having to pop the armaments to keep themselves alive, getting the damage from these swords onto the Immortal there. And the whole time, Hogger has been doing God's work in top lane, and that fort is getting awfully low.
Yeah, with the rotation from the Anubarak and the rest of the team, that will be 2 forts picked up on this Immortal phase. Imbuement doesn't want to let them get out for free, but there is no capability to pursue, at least in any reasonable manner.
Yeah, with Sylvanas and Arcanus just coming up at the end of that, I think that would have been particularly foolhardy engagement if they decided to rip it there. Identifying that their opponents are now up that 13 talent here, going to go ahead and give top camp for the first time as well and settle for only their own bruiser camp as they're looking to get their own 13s in time for the next objective phase.
They should have plenty of time to pick it up as well. Only about 2 waves of minions off of it, so not going to be under any pressure. We'll have to see how the teams adjust a little bit. There's been a little bit of a change about how the engagements have gone down. Clouded Minds has had a few more Anduin saves, so things have started to turn their way, but Keon's not having to be doing a good job of absorbing the engages and not being blown up immediately, so yeah, we'll, see how Cosmos adapts to it.
Li Ming's arcane orbs absolutely drag on the ground when she walks, going into glass cannon against his team.
Incredible way of putting it there, Ektar, as you're right. I mean, it is glass cannon. To be fair, I think she dies at anything looking at her kind of funny anyway with this comp, so...
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna die anyway, what does the health cut matter anyway? We have the engagement attempt. Anduin is gonna get the pull out there. A mighty swap coming out from Ney. A good disengage coming out with the Anduin Heroic Light Bomb. There's stuns everywhere. A big-ass sleep coming out here. Jackal is putting a lot of pressure on the Muffin Man and Keon, but Juggerod is going to be the first to fall here. We drop the bunker a little on the late side. Jackal is able to find the stun, which Imbuement is consistently following up on. Only losing out on the 1 kill here, but the 1 kill at a very inopportune time is going to allow, at the very least, half-time to go in favor of Cosmos.
Yeah, that was one of the things that's very important for Cosmos is getting these Anduin... Imbuement taken out. Does not have the Pyromania for the unstop, so that's all of a sudden a very crucial pickup for Clouded Minds. I was saying real quick is that forcing out these pulls with only basic abilities is really important. There's a big CC train onto Keon, and now Keon's in danger zone. Is going to be taken out, so another short-handed pickup for the teams, and now it does look like Cosmos is going to take this Immortal win. It kind of looking like Clouded Minds could have been in the driver's seat there.
Yeah, Nay getting another really great swap. Just when we thought that Anubarak was all the way out, Nay pulls him back in. We had the Mithril come out there as well as incredible amounts of setup. We have the basically full dagger build coming out from them. Not going to dagger stacking, but stacking different effects on that W talent. Only 14 roots coming out from Deckard, so although they started really nice with the stacking on there, it hasn't quite kept up into the late game, as without supporting the Immortal into your bot lane is actually still totally fine as you've got the 5v5 coming in. 6 teams are closer in down for the side of Clouded Minds if they want to try to make a fight here. We had the stun combo attempted once again, although the Cocoon is going to slow it down quite a bit, as this fight is going every which way under this fort, and Nay and Vala falling almost at the same time.
Yeah, that was really, I think, in favor of Cosmos, except for the part where there's a giant fort shooting them. Arcanus took about 8 fort shots and did go down because of it. But the engagement with the sleep plus a combustion, that was not a combustion. There was a lot of AoE damage. I guess that was a Sylve. It was a very, very solid there.
We do finally have the most important talent for Karama getting picked up, the Scroll of Stone Curse. It is one of the biggest damage upgrades in the game, even larger than the Mighty Convection.
Consider, though, and a Shark 2.
I did say one of.
You did, in fact. I'm just telling you. Consider.
Yes, it is mathematically improbable to have a bigger bonus to damage. I think, let's see, Darnassian Archery, probably not even.
You will need a lot of stacks, but I think you technically can pass it.
I think it stacks up to about 20,000. I stayed in try mode for way too long to do that once.
That's a little crazy, so.
Yeah, we got the Bruiser Camp getting picked up. Clouded Minds playing really far back right now, looking like they want to start the race immediately, but both teams are in a position to do so. And the tanks for Cosmos helping with the race. Keon, however, staying in the bush. Very close race coming out, just barely being won at the moment by Clouded Minds.
Head by Cosmos, actually. The Anubarak hiding in the bush made the difference. Warding the area did cause a little bit of difference. There's a light bomb only landing on Silver Jackal. Mind Control land onto Keon, and that's going to force one of the pulls of Anduin. Currently does have one more available. So double pull at 16 could be a huge talent. Pterosaur takes another hit. That's going to have to be a second pull out. Misses the target. Hogger jumps in the way, and now all of a sudden ball is down. Keon's going to be brought very low, but does not get killed due to a large burst heal of unknown origin, probably a desperate prayer of sorts. And now Cosmos looking to make a push onto the Immortal.
Yeah, Keon did get stabbed, but there was no damage in position to follow up on it. Cosmos continued to poke out the Immortal. One thing from that previous fight I want to point out, the Vala has been pretty consistently vaulting forward when trying to get the Q resets instead of doing it at an oblique angle to stay away from the team, and I think that's what caused them to go down in that fight. They put themselves into the route from Deckard Cain, ultimately ending in their own demise. Really playing, I think, just a little bit too fast and loose with the vault cooldown.
Yeah, Vala, as annoying as I find her sometimes, is a very skill-testing hero, and you can definitely see the difference between strong range players. Not so. Finding the difference, the right angles to take these at can make a huge difference here, and I want to see Pterosaur really work with that, because, again, late game Vala is a menace. As she's already picked up the Manticore, has the option of going into range or Acrobat on 20.
really seeing the poke damage coming out from Ruffian here, making sure they get those consistent resets. Venusaur is looking to get the damage again. Keon are able to burrow charge out in time. We did have the armaments coming up from Silver Jackal, who takes a huge orb and a couple of tower shots. Keep will still fall here. Nate is going to get disengaged by that cocoon, and Wardle just barely had enough health to survive there as we got... Okay, just a potion. I was really worried Cosmos were going to try and invade on this Bruiser camp, and I think that would have been, even for them, a really aggressive play.
Well, they're going to take this
aggressive plays, though.
Uh-oh, Juggerob's got the flank angle on this. This is huge combo. Blown the heck up at the start of this. Ball is in a little bit of a spot, but the stay a while is going to create some avenues for escape. Nate, opting not for the escape, but for the engage, is going to be taken out on the back end of this. Honestly, if you're a Cosmos, I think 2 kills is probably one of the better case scenarios out of that.
Yeah, with as deep as we had on the Hogger engagement, and with the limited mobility coming out for the side of Cosmos, just 2 kills I think is totally fine. Even if they lose a keep, that'll only put them at parity. I would love to see the numbers just fully disengage with this. They don't have a lot of poke. Getting the extra couple of stacks is nice from Karama, but they don't have the damage numbers to try to get kills right now, and not without their Sylvanas.
No, and they really have to be careful on this. If, you know, 2 people get staggered down, that's a 5v3 on core now, and all of a sudden that could be game ending as level 20s are being picked up for Clouded Mind. It's very close here, and now we're going to have to see if Cosmos can pick up their 20s and how fast can they do it.
We've got the raid coming in from NVNG, a couple of guys that used to play some Pathfinder 2nd Edition with Nothing Ventured, Nothing Gamed, a really cool podcast group. Releases videos on YouTube sometimes. Look them up if you are in the tabletop role-playing game space. Thank you so much for the raid. We are watching Game 3 here of this match between Cosmos on the left and Clouded Minds on the right as we go into halftime on this Immortal, won definitively so far by Clouded Minds.
Oh, and offensive positions are going to be tough for Cosmos to push into. This little corridor could be a dangerous spot. Basic ability, Mind Control sent out. Not going to find any purchase. Now Silver Jackal going to be peeled out by the Blaze Unstoppable, just standing in there and tanking it all. Gets the bunker out with the 50 armor, with the upgrade. Is going to be able to tank out a lot. Ruffian's got a nice angle down bottom, but Naze looking to find something of it and infiltrate that DPS line.
Yeah, we talked about Vala winning the game at 20. She's got a couple of talents that do it. We see the Vigorous Vaulter, Acrobat is the one, giving them 3 charges of that ability, so able to reset their Q so often, just chunking out damage, as well as allowing them to play a little bit more aggressively, knowing they can have charges to get themselves back out. We see that the members of Cosmos have identified that they pushed their opponents away, so they've sent out Artanis to try to deal with the race, but Ruffian and Juggerop looking to try to poke out the rest of this Immortal Jackal, avoiding the burrow charge from Keon, who gets stunned by Imbuement. Clouded Mind's trying to finish this Immortal out, but Silver Jackal looking to do what they can. Huge cleaves coming up, putting a ton of damage into Keon, who doesn't have another burrow charge. They are going to get taken out. Imbuement face takes the orb, I think, to save the Immortal health. Silver Jackal doing something similar as well. A lot of damage, although the successive orbs are finally going to find a pair of kills. Really nicely done from Ruffian. They are going to secure this Immortal, and the 2 kills on top of it. This should be going into bottom lane, going to take off a lot of the pressure there, although they were never able to find the keep in top lane, so that is still in Cosmos' advantage.
Yeah, the orbs really started landing later on. There's great positioning there from Ruffian and Pterosaur to threaten the Immortal race with Q. Puncturing Arrow does about 2,000 damage to the Immortal, and flipping 3 times makes that do 8,000. Immortal's sitting at about 10k health, so they had to play really safe on it, but ended up just getting poked down by the successive orbs, as you mentioned. And now this Immortal pushing down onto bottom keep, and it's going down fast.
Yeah, I don't think this can necessarily be a core call if Cosmos are able to play restrained enough not to give any kills away. They've got 2 members coming up in 5 seconds. A lot of their Immortal race is still in the Hall of Storms, and we see Clouded Minds disengaging, looking like they want to try to make this a 2-keep play. And Wow, that Immortal falls fast at 20. And we do see, in fact, Pterosaur doing what they can, Juggerab doing what they can, Jackal looking for the stab, but Juggerab already gets the spin out. Really nicely played by them. Good discipline coming out from Clouded Minds as they're going to go ahead and take top camp. And they should be safe to do so because they see Artanis in bottom lane.
Do see that? So this is... Oh, boy. Oh, y'all. Here's an early light bomb is going to land onto 2. Blaze is going to pop the Unstoppable, does have a lot of armor. There's the stay a while disengage. Kion's past it, though. Kurama's in a very awkward spot. Blaze gets damage off the side. Nay's into the fight now, finds a pop onto Vala. Meanwhile, in the back, Kurama does land a root onto Juggerab. Juggerab goes down. All of a sudden, this is turning in the favor of Cosmos.
Yeah, but they gotta be careful on this chase. Ruffian can still get the big orb hits like they did in the previous fight. Nay, chasing Kion down, gonna find another kill. Yes, they do. Silver Jackal is very low. This is still a very Lee-Mingable defense. No other hero could quite make the defense like they can. As another huge orb just going straight into Jackal's face, as it looks like we've got a disconnect coming out from Odd Thought.
Damn, what a crazy little moment right there. I think there's a big part of the Deckard talents right here. 13, Potion of Revival, is actually possibly going to keep the team up enough to get in here. That if the team is grouped up while pushing, that heals 75% to allies nearby, so that will heal 400% the regular amount. Should they be pushing, so that's going to heal the team up a lot, but Silver Jackal's still really low, and with Leaming up, it is never out of the question.
Yeah, I think the underappreciated hero of that fight is Respect the Elderly. Deckard Cain, I think, hit everyone that wasn't exactly Hogger with their heroic, and that 3 seconds of blind and silence, it's basically a stun with extra steps. Like, you can't do anything with your hero besides move them around. It's so incredibly strong, and admit that, the Vala and the Leeming, not only could they not do damage, they couldn't use their disengaging abilities either, and that allowed Nay themselves to put in a ton of work chasing down the back line. We saw that they took out the Vala first off and were able to eventually chase down the Anubarak as well. But like I said, this is still a Lee-Mingable defense if Clouded Minds end up face-tanking a few too many Arcane Orbs.
Yeah, another big thing here is that with the Sylvanas becoming a bot and stepping back for a little bit, she's about 10 seconds off the rest of the team. So that could be... Yeah, that's 10 seconds not on the core. That's a big deal, and it might be a decision that... not a decision, but it will influence their decision towards making a core call here or not. Cosmos does have a little bit of time to figure out what they want to do with this. Look at their health bars, figure out exactly the play they want to make, because it could be the game determinative one. They can wipe on core, or they can kill a core, or go for a reset with another immortal phase. There's a lot of things that they have to consider here, and it's all very close. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision right now.
Yeah, I agree, because, like, in my head as the observer watching this game, I'm looking at where we are right now, and I'm thinking, this is a situation where a team could end. I don't know if my team could end in this position. I don't know if Cosmos necessarily can end in this position. It's definitely an endable position in theory, but the root on the core is huge. Ruffian's damage has all game been huge. I have us on the between game screen right now, but for reference, the highest damage coming out from Cosmos, 49k. The highest damage coming out from Clouded Minds is Leeming with 106k. Easily more than doubling the next closest person from Cosmos. Like, couldn't be further from parity in that specific metric.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the damage taken numbers are going to be higher for the Super Bulk comp, which averages about 80,000 damage per hero taken of the bulkies. But still, it's a It's a lot of spot to be in, and Leeming just needs one pop off to all of a sudden turn this into a reverse core call.
All right, we've got the readies coming from both sides, so I'm going to bring everyone back in, maybe a bit closer than I normally would, just so we can check out the numbers. 137,000 healing coming up from Deckard Cain, 71 from Anduin. Just really incredible numbers coming out from both teams. Karama just barely taking the end of that. Orb range from 16 coming in clutch there. Avoiding that one, which means that the orb is on full cooldown now, as we see the Cosmos have made the Cultivo Core. They are splitting up nicely. They're looking for Ruffian, though, the front line. But that leaves Nay, Karama, and Oddbot to chunk the damage into the core. Silver Jackal is going to go down. This gives it reset to Ruffian, but I don't think it's going to matter. Respect the elderly stopping any of that damage from coming out. And that is the 2-1 victory in favor of Cosmos.
Would you call it a reverse sweep, though?
I wouldn't, because it's a best of 3, and it diminishes the strength of best of 3 across longer series. But I know that there are people who would call it that.
Oh, man. So, I want to point out the Deckard didn't feel super good in game number 1. It felt very impactful in game number 3, even with the Scroll of Identify not getting finished.
They got the first half.
They did get the first half, and the second half is not quite as impactful. But I want to point out, more than doubled the Anduin's healing. Again, a little inflated due to the big bodies and the composition style, but that's still a ton. You mentioned the Leeming damage. There's the damage removal right there. And the damage from Cosmos was very efficient at just eliminating people. So that was very solid and well done by Karama. Also in the No Death Club.
Congratulations, Ace. You've won your channel points back.
Oh, I tried to... Look, I flipped a coin. I promise I did. It said heads. Heads was blue, tails was red. And I think that was a banger of a match to try and, give away some points. Final score on kills was 11-11. So, couldn't ask for much closer for game number 3.
No, and that was genuinely a banger of a series. Like, I love watching matches with this kind of a disparity between compositional styles. Like really, across all 3 games, Cosmos was holding forward, and Clouded Minds was trying to catch the engage and then turn it around. And it worked in a lot of cases, but things just came up in Cosmos' favor in the end on Game 3.
Sure did. Are you working to set an interview up with
I have not
Squad?
yet, but I am intending to.
Alrighty.
I also don't remember who was the captain. I remember Silver Jackal is the assistant captain, but I'll shoot the whisper to them. Ace, what are you doing?
Giving away 5,000 channel points?
You heard it here first. 7th Ace manipulating the channel point economy here in the Ektar stream chat. 3 points being given away. And, oh good, we do in fact have some people that voted against. I would absolutely relish the idea of throwing points into the void, but that will not be the case here.
You'll have to finish the prediction, but
yeah, because someone voted in it.
that was so funny.
Alright, we've got the confirmation from Silver Jackal, but they can't join the casting lobby, so we're going to jump into our traditional lobby to carry out this interview.
Of course.
Congratulations to Voriel and Valcomer for your channel points.
Someone put 750 in and somebody put 10. So somebody got the lion's share,
Yeah.
and the tiger's share, and the oh my share of those channel points.
I'm disappointed you didn't go to Bear's share because of the first 2 that you went to.
Welcome to the stream.
Woo.
Hello, both of the assistant captains coming in for the post-game interview, Silver Jackal and Imbuement.
Yeah, we count as one odd, so we had both have to do it.
I was a big fan of Odd Thought for a long time because he was the head of the writing staff for a while
Oh,
back in
nice.
the day, and that was my favorite content NGS ever produced were the written articles, but it's hard to convince people to keep writing.
Yeah, he's a good writer, though. I get it.
And shout out to Valcomer for doing DivC analysis writing.
True.
Yeah.
It's stuff we like.
So congratulations on your 2-1 victory. The most generic question in the world, how are you feeling right now after that series?
Pretty good. You know, it always feels good to win. Always hope for the domination, but didn't happen this time around. It was a hard-fought match.
Yeah, they put up a pretty good fight. It was a good win, man. It's a very good game. Good set.
It was really fun to watch, and I don't know how much of the cast you were listening to as the match was going on. The reason I picked up this match specifically is because a week and a half ago I cast y'all with Valcomer, and your play is just so fun to watch. So I'm glad I love Clouded Minds. I've known people on there. I've known them for a long time. I was kind of hoping y'all were going to win so we could do this post-game interview, because Imbuement, if you ever played a fighting game, you would be described as just holding forward always.
Press W in Overwatch.
Hell yeah, dude.
Is that a Cosmos altogether kind of a thing, or is that an Imbuement thing and the team has had to evolve around it? How did that playstyle come out?
Yes. We're so I got with Cosmos last season. And so learning how to play it, I guess around my tanking, it kind of took them a little while, but I mean, I learned how to tank sort of same way most people do, where, you know, everybody plays DPS and then nobody wants to tank. So yeah. But I got to tank for some pretty high level people for a while, so they kind of taught me the basics. So yeah, like, I guess it's mostly a me thing, but they've done a really good job adapting.
Yeah, I just yell, go, 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 go.
I
And
mean,
it kind of works out.
once you've been playing together for a while, that's about the level of comms that you need.
Yeah.
I would personally prefer a name in there somewhere, like shouting Vala over and over if that's who you're planning to engage on. But you know, if everybody's on the same page, that's all you need so far.
Ektar, do
yeah.
you remember my comms? Get this idiot. Or, what's this person doing? Get him. And it's just implied that everyone will know which person is being out of position.
Yeah,
I get that.
and when the position is you, it's just screaming, incoherent screaming.
When it's me out of position, then it's like, look at me, I'm the idiot now.
Yeah, I do that too. I'm like, F me. I am so done. Sorry about the F me.
Oh, that's fine. I don't get paid by Twitch, so.
Okay.
Map number 1, you guys had map pick and opted for Braxis Holdout. Why do you hate your commentators?
Well, a lot of people hate it, so we're just like, let's just make everyone's life miserable this game.
Sharing the love.
Yeah.
Thanks for casting, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
better than Warhead, so I'll take that map over that any day.
It's true.
if you picked Warhead and somehow convinced Clouded Minds to go along with it, you and I would be having a different conversation right now.
It would be head mod Ektar, not caster Ektar.
Yeah, normally I have more questions about Braxis, but honestly, that's just such a good answer. I don't even know that I want to continue on with, at least not about the map specifically.
Oh, thanks. My writer came up with the odd shout out. No.
So, do you play? Does the team find a lot of success with the Sylvanas, as it was banned out during the first 2 games of the series? So, was that a target ban onto Odd, or is it just Sylvanas good ban? Do you think?
I think Target, she's good in my opinion. Overall, she has a burst. She can sustain well. She can push really hard. And she's one of the only heroes that lets you push under a 4 without taking shots, so...
Fair enough. Game 1, I mean, realistically, in Game 3, you had about the same game plan, from what we could tell, which was kill one person on the enemy team and then leverage that into winning the whole game overall. What was the difference between Games 1 and Games 2 and 3 that caused you to find success in the latter two, but not the former?
I don't know. Maybe warm-up game for our tank. The game was just, I think tempo was in our way for a while, then we just made a couple mistakes and it kind of slipped away. I think we just kind of cleaned ourselves up a bit.
Okay. For game number 2, I think you had just generally a really interesting composition. You went for Zagara Mephisto as your damage core and Johanna as your main tank, which I was quite surprised with, given how I had seen you guys play in the past. You play, obviously, quite aggressively, and Johanna is not typically known for it. Is that just something you can make work with Johanna, or was there a different option that you were maybe considering but ended up not going with?
Well, we typically play well with Johanna. We can make her work with aggressive comps. Bless Shield, Maw, Endurance, whatever really. If we... No secrets given away, but yeah, we can play her pretty well. I think she fits in just about every comp, and we can make it work when we need to.
All right. And then I guess game 2 you had a pretty firm control of through most of the game. Game 3 you went with the triple front line. Is this a Battlefield of Eternity thing? Is this just a thing the team likes to do sometimes? What prompted that style of aggressive comp as compared to your sort of more traditional double backline kind of aggressive comps?
I mean, bruisers are pretty overtuned in my opinion. Doesn't hurt to have more of them on the team.
So we'll have 3.
All right.
Bruiser a la carte.
I mean, it's a good strategy if you're gonna say it's better. You put your draft where the theory is and grab 3 of them.
Works out sometimes.
All right, I guess then my last sort of question for y'all would be, who is your MVP and why is it Nay?
So it's definitely not Nay. We hate him.
Understandable.
No, he did really great tonight. Stayed another MVP. Got some really good heals off Karama. Some good tank plays off of Imbuement here. So see, it's a toss-up. I'll leave that up to Hot's impeccable MVP decider. So,
well, whoever's reporting the match will be the one who decides who the MVP is.
Oh, that's up to Odd then. He'll probably put himself.
I mean, fair. In particular, Game 3, just an incredibly impactful Deckard Cain coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, Kurama came in clutch with that.
All right. Ace, you got anything else for our esteemed guests?
No, I think you covered just about everything.
All right, then we're going to throw it back on to you for any shout-outs that you guys want to give.
Well, I've done all the talking, so I'll let you go first, Imbue.
Well, the NGS staff and you guys for casting us. Thank you. And shout out the other team. They played a good game. It was a fun set. Look forward to seeing more of them. And hopefully we can maybe see them in the playoffs. Yeah, that's all I got.
All right, well, thank you both for coming by. Good luck in the rest of your season. And once again, congratulations on your 2-1 victory.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you again for casting. Have a good night, you two.
You as well.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, and we are back safely in the casting bunker as we normally are. Thank you, Ace, for coming on out. Really appreciate it. It's good to get back into the casting swing of things.
Can't wait to cast with you again in 2026.
I mean, the dam is already open. I think there will probably be a couple more casts this season. I sure hope so, anyway.
I think that's reasonable. So, no promises. But I think we can do it.
I had a thought and lost it over the course of the end of that interview, but that's okay. This is, by a significant margin, the latest NGS cast that was going on tonight for, well, for anyone. So instead of throwing you over to an NGS cast, we're going to throw you on over to an NGS caster who is currently, I think, in solo queue right now for their 21st birthday. It is Snarfungus. And, yeah, she's been really putting in the numbers, and love to see some casters I haven't seen quite as often coming up on the rise. Big fan. And, yeah, thank you everyone for coming out. We had a really great time casting for y'all. The match was really fun, and, you know, if you get up to that 5,000 channel points and have a match you want to see get casted, go ahead and redeem the replay cast, and probably shoot me a DM about it, because I don't check those very often. So, yeah, I think that's everything that I've got. Thank you once again for coming on out. Thank you again, Ace.
Woo!
And we will see you all next time.
Peace.
Of a building called the Lair.